Khloe Kardashian is slamming her ex-husband Lamar Odom for his creepy, disgusting, vile, depraved comments about getting an ex doll made that resembles her. For some reason, her weird ass mom, Kris Jenner, thinks it's funny, right? And so Khloe was talking to her mom and Malika about how Lamar DMs her the strangest videos, right? And then Kris jokes, "Oh, is it like him with your blow up doll?" And then Khloe goes, "Oh, dude, that is just so nasty." So she pulls up an article that was written about Lamar's comments on a podcast about that Khloe Kardashian blow up doll, right? And so she says, "Oh, it's sick, but I think we're a little weird." Or that's what he says, sorry. It's sick. So he acknowledges that him doing that to her is not okay. And he's like, "You know what? But I'm weird. So whatever." Right. And he says that he needs like a harem. And it wasn't clear if he wanted a harem of like Khloe clones or a harem of just the different women that he's been with. Remember, apparently, when he was found knocked out in a brothel, he had boned like 300 women or something like that. Like, it's a very disturbing guy. And so Khloe said that, quote, "Lamar thinks his Khloe-like ex-doll will be perfect because he can do whatever he wants with her." So that was her repeating what the article said. And her mom, this is her mother, Kris, laughed. And Khloe said, "No, this is disturbing. This is so demonic and unwell." Guys, I feel like Kris Jenner, as much as she loves her daughters, right? One thing about her, it's very obvious. Listen, let me turn on this light. It's very obvious that she loves her children, right? However, the stories and the things that these girls casually reveal about her are disturbing. It makes me wonder why their childhood and everything was just so hyper actualized, right? So, for example, in an early episode of Khloe in Wonderland, the podcast that she runs, she and Malika were talking about how when they were teenagers, about 15, 16 years old, Khloe was complaining about this guy like not returning her calls for a date or whatever, not wanting, or maybe she was 18, not wanting a second date with her. And then Kris overheard it and she's like, "Oh, like, did you blow him?" Khloe said, "No, it's the first date. Why would I do that?" Kris says, "Oh, no wonder he doesn't want a second date," and walks off. She's weird. To laugh at this happening to your child is weird as hell. She's very, very weird. Okay. And then in the confessional on the episode, mind you, it was the season finale. I have not heard too much about this season of that show. It's not interesting, is it? Khloe said that she found out about Lamar's blow up doll the same way everybody else did, which was on the internet. And she doesn't understand why he would publicly admit to something as creepy as that. She's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be flattered by this. It's more that this validates just how different we are and how much we've grown apart. And it's creepy and it's weird, but I'm not hurt by it. It's his journey and it's just weird and gross." And when he said this, when they filmed this scene, the two of them, she was giving him some of his old things back. And then he was just kind of like acting like he wanted to, keep being friends with her or stay in contact with her. And then about a week after this, sit down. That is when he goes on this podcast and talks about commissioning a blow up doll. So it's almost like you wanted to see this girl up close again so you can get all the proportions right for your stupid blow up doll, because it had been like a decade plus since the last time that these two were together, right? So that it makes the whole encounter all the more creepy, right? I can't. It's really gross. And I wish that there were some sort of legal recourse for the women that this happens to, because this is just not okay. It's not. Girl, Jazz, no, I was not talking about Cold DeBoer. I was talking about the man. I was talking about the man that Cheyenne's mom married. Cheyenne's stepdad is so gorgeous. So gorgeous. Which stock? Steph, that's a good question. I dropped the notification. Let me pull it up. What do y'all think about the Lamar Odom story? Gwen says, "Too many creepy dudes this morning. I was not ready. LOL." Listen, I agree with you. A damn mess. What the actual hell is going on with men these days? Are men okay? OMG says Kris is her daughter's PIMP. Honestly, I used to think that people were just like being misogynistic when they said that. However, now, like, hearing more and more, the more I hear about her and like the children and whatnot, the more I'm like, you know what? Maybe points are being made here. Steph, it was UFI. Unify. UFI is what it's officially listed as, though. Okay. Here it is. You see the $2. Ramster says the way Kong went after Kyle's best friend, I'll never forget, forgiving her baby daddy for doing. Oh, you're talking about Khloe. Like, who's Kong? I'll never forget forgiving her baby daddy for doing what he did in a nanosecond and throwing that girl under the bus with 666. And didn't she like body shame Jordan too? Jordan was a young girl, and then you've got Khloe here talking about you fat, you this, you that, you broke up my family. If you were a family with this man, why were you home alone, pregnant on Valentine's Day and night? Why were you alone? This man didn't even live with you either, and he got you pregnant. And you're talking about this is my family. You don't even spend Valentine's Day together before you guys have your first child together. Then on top of that, we saw him cheating with multiple other people before that and after that. What was the thing when he was doing like the three-way makeout in the club? That happened during that pregnancy too. The guy is just, he's community peeing. Nikki says, oh my God, not funny, but the way you just explained why he wanted to see you know, he was looking at her extra close. Like, let's see. Oh, don't forget that freckle over there. Like, so weird, so creepy. Okay, it was you, Millie. We had that combo. I'm not Luo. Funnily enough, just a Canadian with a Kenyan father. Oh, who does that? No way. That is so cool, Millie. Oh my God, I want to know all about it. That's amazing. Good for you. That is amazing. Wow. Kahara says, these days, men have always been creepy and weird. True. Unfortunately, that is true. Ali says, I've been saying that since the Kardashians went to that island with the Girls Gone Wild guy, right? They've always had a very weird, checkered history. Only facts, I used Revolut, Revolut. It's just this like online bank that I use here in France, but I think it's global as well. Star, oh, thank you, Star. Nice to see you. We missed you earlier. Thank you. And thank you for choosing this. Honestly, my stylist, she's slated. I've been with her for 2 years. Listen, and she comes to your house, and you know how much it cost me to get this done? My North American girlies, you're gonna be jealous. You're gonna be enraged. Because when I talked to this about my sister, she about fell on the floor in her rage. 30 euros. And she comes to your damn house. We got it good here, you guys. We have got it good, y'all. We've got it good. Millie says the Kardashians are a bunch of pick-me's, especially the mom, Kris. I still cannot believe that she was laughing at that. That is just so disturbing. Now, you guys, I really want to get into the Ariana Grande story. So you guys could take a look at this too. I went to verify on my own as well. Shout out to the Reddit community, actually. The Reddit community put me on to the Shakira story and to this Ariana Grande story as well, okay? So basically this is Ariana Grande's Instagram grid, right? These are her most recent posts. However, there is one post missing from the screenshot because Instagram decided to make it so that if anybody wants to access this last post from Ariana that she had made, they have to verify that they are over the age of 18 years old. So let me show you the photo, and then we're going to talk about why that is, right? Because when you look at this photo of Ariana, you think it's just a regular photo of her. She's just showing photos from her on set of whatever the project is that she's doing. But this photo in particular, it's very alarming to people, right? You see a lot of, chest bones and whatnot. And now when you try to access it and you haven't verified your age, you get this notice. It says, and I quote, "Please note that we'll remove content that promotes or encourages eating disorders, but we do allow people to share their own experiences and journey around self-image and body acceptance. You can visit our community standards to learn more." So it appears as though Instagram, I think this happens through multiple people flagging an image. It appears as though Instagram is saying, hey, listen, Ariana Grande, there might be something going on. And we don't want to give people the impression that we are encouraging eating disorders or anything like that. On the one hand, I feel badly for Ariana because we don't even know if that's the case, right? She has never said anything publicly about whether or not she has an ED, to my knowledge anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. It could be anything, right? There have been other stars who rapidly started losing weight only to later say that it was for other reasons, right? The most famous one that I think of is Chadwick Boseman, right? Who was starring as the Black Panther. He started off at a certain weight, very muscular, very strong guy when he was playing the role of the Black Panther. And then he started rapidly losing weight. And so people were asking all sorts of questions. People were making all sorts of diagnoses from like the comfort of their living room or the park bench or whatever, until what happened? We found out that he passed away from cancer. So you really, really never know, right? Like, I feel like claiming that a selfie that someone who is really thin posted is encouraging EDs, it's a bit harsh, especially if that person has never publicly come out and said that that's what they have, right? I don't know. But it's very, very sad. It is. Good luck to Ariana. I don't know what she's, going through, but I wish her luck, right? Because there's been a lot of speculation. She recently talked about it on the Wicked press tour about how it does hurt her, the amount of speculation that she gets on her body, right? Stephanie says, if Ari isn't experiencing a health issue, she's going through something, and I hope she gets some help, right? She's going through a divorce too, right? Don't forget, guys, that she's going through a divorce. And before that, she was dealing with a tumultuous relationship. Like, she's been going through thing after thing, right? There was the Mac Miller situation, right? Their breakup. And then his passing. There was the Manchester bombing at her concert. There's just always something going on with her, it feels like. And then maybe just in general, from a mental health perspective, maybe there's just something going on there too. I don't know. Right? Amanda says, I hope she's okay either way. Same here. Kel says, hoping Ariana is okay. Not sure it should be implied that she has an ED. I agree, right? We really do not know. Malen says, K pictures. What's K pictures, boo? What's K pictures? Shay says, it's nice to have the longer lives. You can listen to you and glance every, oh yeah, right. Are you like, maybe doing things around the house? Okay, that's nice to know. Thank you. I definitely want to do more lives. Listen, you guys, you know what my big plan is? I need to move out of Paris, because in Paris, to have like something that's like 2-3 bedrooms or whatever, you need to have like millions of dollars, right? So I want to move. I want to go down south, and I want to have a home with like 2-3 bedrooms. And then one of them is going to be a studio. So I could like full blown, be doing a lot more, other than like being here, like in the middle of my, little Parisian apartment and whatnot. So stay tuned, you guys. And that's happening by the end of the year, by the way. Malen says, Kim pictures are so harmful to children. Right? That's the thing. You see a lot of like hypersexualization on Instagram, and that's supposedly fine, right? What about this? What about this? By the way, you guys, if you've been enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up. Stephanie wants to see the puppy. Oh, she's not a puppy. She's an old lady. What is Deva? Do you see her? That's her. She's just minding her own business right now. She's an old lady. I think she's like 11 years old. What is that in dog years? 77. She is a grandmother.